Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the Cyndi Lauper tag. This tag was created by Josh of Literary Gladiators, and he kindly tagged me to do this tag. I will leave a link to the Literary Gladiators channel in the show notes down below, as well as a copy of the prompts. So let's get going. Prompt number 1. Girls just want to have fun. A work that shows girls or women happy or having fun. So this prompt gave me a little bit of trouble. I had two books I was going to select, but just this morning, as I was picking out the books for the show and tell part of this tag, it hit me that there is a book in which the characters have fun, and that's the one I really should pick. So I'm going to go with The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie. This is the second Miss Marple novel, and it's about a body that was discovered one morning in the library of Gossington Hall. The lady of Gossington Hall, Dolly Bantry, is friends with Miss Marple, who, though she's not a professional detective, she is a brilliant amateur detective. And together, the two set out to solve the mystery of who this young woman was, how did she get in the library, and who really killed her. And one thing about Miss Marple and Dolly Bantry is that they are having a blast trying to figure out who done it. They're having a blast solving this mystery. Miss Marple is more reserved, more subtle in her enjoyment, but Dolly Bantry most certainly is having an absolute blast with this murder. To the point where, thinking about it, I kind of agree with Steve Donahue and David Murphy's assessments from a few years ago. But anyway, so yeah. Oh, please tell me you actually. Okay, just in case you didn't see it, because as I'm being this way, um, the image went to a blank screen. Sorry about that if you got that. Anyway, prompt number 2, time after time. A writing you find yourself returning to time after time, whether their works are good, bad, or ugly. So for this prompt, I'm going with Hiro Mishima. And I have two first volumes of his series to hand. First up is Fairy Tale, and the second is Eden Zero. So Hiro Mishima has been a mainstay of the manga industry for nearly about 25 years now. He started with the series Wraith Master, which I haven't quite followed up on as much as I would like to, and then Fairy Tale and numerous spin-offs, and then Eden Zero, which is his current series, as well as a new one called Dead Rock, which I haven't had the opportunity to check out. I'm hoping to once the English Tankobon editions are released in a year or two, hopefully. But I love his work. I go back to him regularly, particularly since I've started to actively collect manga in the last few years. And I will set him aside because he's the answer for a future question or a future prompt on this tag. Prompt number 3, Bop, a work about a suggestive subject. So for this, I'm going to go with A Gay Bar by Jeremy Atherton Lynn. This is a look at gay bars and Atherton Lynn's experiences with them. This came out a year or two ago, and I had to go at it. I didn't quite get on with it, but I'm thinking maybe I might have another go at this in November for Nonfiction November. Prompt number 4, All Through the Night. a writer you became immersed in once you approached their work. So for this, I'm going to go with Catherine W. Carter. She's a fantastic poet. I'm pretty sure I have everything that she's put out. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I do. So I'm going to show her first work, The Memory of Gills. I just absolutely love her work. I have reread all of her collections at least 2 or 3 times by now, and just lovely work. Prompt number 6. Wait, no, prompt number 5. Money changes everything. A writer whose work seemed to become too mainstream with time. So with this prompt, I'm going to go with H.W. Brands. He's a historian who I've heard has gotten more mainstream, or he's written more for a popular audience, or he's written a more popular style of history the last few years compared to earlier in his career. I haven't read as much H.W. Brands to make that judgment for myself, but I have noticed that he has a book a year now, which makes me wonder if he is writing for a more popular audience or his writings have gone in that direction. And this is his book from 2 years ago. I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. Our First Civil War. Now prompt number 6. The Goonies are good enough. A work that motivates you to get fit. Unfortunately, I don't have a book in my collection that motivates me to get fit. Like Josh, I would have had a cookbook to show you for this prompt, but while I do have a pretty good cookbook collection, none of them could really be considered all that health conscious. Hopefully one day I will get such a cookbook, but I don't have one now. Prompt number 7. True Colors, a work that motivates you to be who you are. Again, I don't really have a book that fits this prompt in my collection. Prompt number 8, Change of Heart, a writer whom you are still trying to get into and find the right work. So I don't know necessarily if this writer quite works for this prompt, but I have struggled mightily with this author for 20 years now, and that is Alan Hollinghurst. This is his first book, The Swimming Pool Library. So I first read Hollinghurst in the early 2000s when I got his third novel, The Spell. And I didn't quite get on with it, and it took me a year or two to bail redeem it. And then I kind of liked it. And I subsequently picked up his fourth novel, The Line of Beauty, and his first novel, his third novel, The Line of Beauty, and then his first and second novels, The Swimming Pool Library and The Folding Star in San Francisco. And I periodically had goes at the first 2 books. Like I read The Swimming Pool Library and I liked it, but there was just something off-putting about it. And I felt that about The Spell too. And while I've collected everything that Hollinghurst has published so far, there's an attraction to his work, but there's also something that repels me, and I haven't quite worked my way through it yet. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to try to give him another dedicated reading, or if I'll just finally say enough's enough and just unhaul his work. I don't know. I will report back eventually. Prompt number 9. I Drove All Night. A book you had to stay up well into the night to finish. So for this, I'm going to go with A Clash of Kings by George R. Martin. This is the last book I have that I remember staying up well past my bedtime to read. This is the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, and while I enjoyed the series when I was younger, um, subsequently trying to get back into a Game of Thrones hasn't been all that successful. So, yeah, this probably was ultimately just a one reading experience, but I never listen to myself sometimes. Okay. Prompt number 10. My First Night Without You. A book related event that left you empty. Um, guess I could go with the most recent Victober. I tried to participate in this year's Victober. For those of you who don't know, Victober is a booktube standard. It's one of the big booktube events, and it takes place in the month of October. And participants in Victober read Victorian literature. I tried to read some of the what little Victorian work I have in my collection, and it did not go well at all. Um, Prompt number 11. Hey now, girls just want to have fun. A writer that is creative with alluding to previous works of theirs. So once again, I'm calling in Hiro Mishima, who is famous or infamous for reusing character designs and concepts um, in his work. So, for example, obviously you could see a blue cat on the cover of both Fairy Tale and Eden Zero. This cat is happy. He's first introduced in Fairy Tale as the Exceed companion to Natsu Dragneel. He is a anthropomorphic cat who can develop wings to fly. In Eden Zero, he is the companion of Rebecca, who and he's a cyborg who can turn into a pair of guns that Rebecca can wield. Other examples are sort of originating in Wraithmaster. There's a character called Seekheart, who his character design recurs in Fairy Tale as Jalal Fernandez, and then in Eden Zero as James Holloway, who goes by the name Justice. In Fairy Tale, there's a character called Ursa Scarlet, who reappears in Eden Zero as Elsie Crimson. And there's all sorts of these Easter eggs throughout Hiro Mishima's work that I think some fans find endearing and others find a bit lazy. I love them, but I love Hiro Mishima's work, so. Anywho. Next prompt is number 12. Into the Nightlife, a work that exploits the sinful underbelly of humanity, or explores the sinful underbelly of humanity. So for this, I'm going to go with a work of history, Empires of Vice by Diana S. Kim. This is a look at opium prohibition in Southeast Asia. I've had this for a year or two, no, it's about 2 years now, and I read it, or I had a go at it, and didn't quite get on with it. I'm thinking of giving it a bail redemption, but I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. So prompt number 13 is, what is your favorite Cyndi Lauper song? So I had thought about listening to as many songs that are referenced to in this tag before I did it. And I don't quite think I managed it. And I haven't really read as much or listened to as much Cyndi Lauper as I would like. But of the songs of hers that I have heard, I think my favorite is Girls Just Want to Have Fun, with Time After Time a close second. So that was the Cyndi Lauper tag. Again, thank you, Josh, for tagging me. And if you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. I will be back next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, with another tag from Josh and Literary Gladiators, the Herb tag. Before then, though, there is one video I want to do, which I'm hoping to do after I wrap this video up. I wanted to do it yesterday, but it didn't quite work out. So maybe a second time will be the charm. And then tomorrow there's another video I want to make. So anyway, BookTube, until I see you next time, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.